Hi beauties, welcome back or welcome if it is your first time here. I'm so happy that you have made it. We are doing another voiceover get ready with me today. When I felt like filming yesterday, I didn't realize how chaotic it was in our house. It was just so loud. Everybody was home, which is fine. It just means I have to do a voiceover. So no big deal. I'm using this Neutrogena Radiant Primer and Serum, and I am loving this stuff. I've only used it a few times, but I love the way it makes my skin look. It is lightweight, it's radiant, it's non-greasy, it is formulated with vitamin E, so it does have like some skin repair and restoration benefits. I just feel like it makes my skin look healthy and juicy, which I love year round, but especially this time of year, I'm already noticing that my skin is a little bit drier than it typically is. Going in with my Milani eye base, like duh. This is a staple part of my routine, but how is everybody? I really hope everybody is doing well. Again, whatever that means to you, I hope you're doing what you need to do to keep yourself healthy and safe. I am using my BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette today. This is, I think, maybe the third time I've used this palette. It's in my Shop My Stash. As always, I'm using all of the products that are in my Shop My Stash. I have added a couple of things since I filmed my update a few weeks ago, but not a lot. I'm just packing the shade Fluffy all over my lid. It's just a peachy, flesh toned color. And actually, in hindsight, I kind of wish I wouldn't have done this. I wish I would have just gone straight in with the shadows and just let them sort of stick to the base themselves. I think I would have got I don't know, a little bit better color payoff maybe, but what can you do? Starting with the shade Cheat Day here, which is a really, really beautiful, just like periwinkle kind of color, which is one of my favorite colors ever. Maybe not necessarily to wear on my eyes, but I just love the color in general. And, as usual, my my go-to eye technique, I'm just taking it all through my crease, even just actually a little bit higher than my crease, not much, but windshield wiper motions, just until I get the color payoff exactly where I want it. And then I'm just taking the same brush, no extra product or anything, and I'm just very lightly kind of going over the edges just to smooth things out a little bit, blur lines, that type of thing. Going in with this shade So Good, which is sort of like a more, it's when you put it on your eye, it's really pretty. It's like a cobalt blue color, but I don't know, in the pan and when I swatch it, it looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit darker, but it shows up like this on the eye, which I really, really like. I don't have a ton of blue eyeshadows, so I've really been enjoying using this palette. And blue eyeshadow just is not it's just not a look that I go to a lot. I guess I was just in the mood yesterday, but I just focused that color on my outer V, and I am taking a fluffier brush here and just kind of stamping the color in a little bit more on my outer V, because that's really where I want like the most concentration of this color to be, and then just really lightly blending it into my crease. Now I have noticed when I do eye looks that they typically look worse before they end up looking better. So when you are doing any kind of eye look, just have patience. It all will come together in the end. I know that like the edges of this, my outer edges look a mess, but again, just remember that's something that you can always clean up when you're done with a baby wipe or some micellar water, which is what I use. You can make your edges as sharp as you want to when you're all done. I am going in, I took the shade Tempting, which is a really, really pretty shimmery blue in the palette. When it's swatched, it almost looks like it has a bunch of different glitters in it. It almost looks like there's some silver and pink glitters running through it. I don't know. It's really, really pretty. I'm focusing that on almost my entire lid, leaving just a tiny bit of space in my inner corner for another shimmer. But this color is, well, all the shimmers in this palette are, sorry, toddler interruption. I was just saying that all of the shimmers in this palette are really, really pretty. You really don't even need like a glitter glue. You don't need to wet your brush, spray your brush. They show up really well just on their own. I will say, as I was kind of doing this look and as I'm sitting here watching it, and this is in no way like a critique of this palette. I think this palette is really, really beautiful. I know you can still get it on Ulta. I think it might be sold out on BH's website, but if you're somebody who is looking to try some blue eyeshadows, but maybe not necessarily an all blue palette, this does have like some browns and there's like a grayish shade in here. But if you're looking to try it out, I would recommend it. But I just noticed for me myself, and this is just because I'm not a creative person necessarily, like when it comes to eyeshadow looks, I find that my eye looks with this palette tend to look relatively the same. I think I did like a blue halo eye with this a couple times that ended up looking really pretty, but they just all kind of look the same. And again, it's not a critique of the palette. It's just I guess just an observation of my lack of creativity, I guess. But I still enjoy it. Using this is a new foundation, Maybelline. I think it's like the Dream Radiant Liquid something. I really like this foundation. I've only used it 2 times, but I like the way that it sits on my skin. When you pump it out, it's a little bit thick, so I was thinking it was going to be more coverage than what I wanted, but it ends up being just a really nice medium coverage. I haven't tried to build it up. You might be able to. I enjoy the medium coverage. I don't really like anything much heavier than that, at least right now, as far as my makeup preferences. But I really like this. It is radiant. It looks really, you can obviously tell you're wearing makeup, but it just still looks nice. It doesn't look cakey or anything on my skin. I do think that the shade I got is maybe just a tiny bit too dark. It did not look that dark online when I picked it, but what can you do? And this product is relatively new too. These soap brows from Makeup Revolution. I saw somebody recommend these. I can't remember exactly who, and I thought that it would actually be kind of a cool product for me. I don't really need a lot of like color on my brows. I like the color my brows are. I like the fullness of them, and I've really, really been enjoying that. It locks my brows into place all day long. And of course, using my Neutrogena concealer, Using my finger to apply this is really my favorite method. I just think that it really just helps it melt into the skin so nicely. But I can't recommend this concealer enough. I love it. I've been using it almost nonstop since I've gotten it. I think I have the Fit Me concealer in my Shop My Stash as well, and I've only used it maybe once in the last couple weeks. I love this stuff. And I forgot to show you here, but I'm just using my Fenty ProFilt'r powder in butter. One of my favorites. Another interruption, I'm sure. Going back in on my lower lash line with that So Cool color with the same brush that I used to apply it to my lid, just a dense brush. I'm keeping it just on that outer corner. I don't really want my under eye to be too dramatic. And then I'm just showing you that I'm taking it's still a pretty small brush, but it's a little bit fluffier than that first one I used. And I'm going back in with that Periwinkle shade, Cheat Day, and just kind of smoking out my lower lash line a little bit, not a crazy amount. And then I'm taking I don't think you can see it very well here, but I'm just taking the shimmery blue shade that I think it's Tempting is what it's called, and I'm just kind of running it all over my lower lash line. And then going in with Sugared and just popping that on my inner corner, just ever so slightly taking it up into my crease a little bit there too. I like doing that with my inner corner highlights. And I'm just showing you, I'm using my Lash Lift mascara. It's boring to watch, but put a couple coats of that on. I had mentioned that I added a couple new things to my Shop My Stash. This bronzer is one of them. It's an Ulta, I forget the exact name, I'm sorry. I'll have it linked below, but it's called like a matte glow bronzer, which sounds confusing. But I will say I've only used it a couple times, but I am loving this bronzer. It smells really good. It smells like the Physicians Formula bronzer. It's got like that coconutty smell, but it's a nice warm bronzer, but I don't feel like it's too warm. It doesn't make me look orange. It actually almost has a little bit of like a red or like a terracotta-y undertone to it, which is just so beautiful on the skin. So I'm loving that. And then I'm just using the blush palette, the blushlighter palette from Bakerie, mixed a couple shades, which I really like that palette too. I think the blushes just give your cheeks such a nice glow, a little sheen. And then my Fenty highlighter, my Killawatt highlighter. Can never have too much highlighter, in my opinion. Using my little baby Anastasia lipstick. I'm glad I only got this as a mini sample. It's not something I would purchase. I don't know, the color's pretty enough, but it's just kind of dry on my lips. And then my Milani Ludicrous gloss, which I love so much, in Luster Light. Popping some of that on, and then I'm going to go ahead and throw my hair up. Boop, there it is. Putting on some hoops. A high bun and hoops. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. The finished look, and thank you guys for watching. Take care of yourselves, beauties. Until next time.